one in the FBI serial killer list.
The surviving Gemini killer has just uncovered the truth. Dexter Morgan is the Bay Harbor Butcher. This isn't just another killer looking to make a name for himself. This is the most intelligent, methodical, and dangerous adversary Dexter has ever faced. One who doesn't just want to kill, he wants to outsmart. And now, with a personal vendetta and a genius-level intellect, the hunter may finally become the hunted. But how did the Gemini killer figure it out? And more importantly, what will he do with this knowledge? The answers could completely reshape the endgame of Dexter: resurrection. From the moment Garrett, the first twin, stepped into Leon Prater's elite gathering of killers, something felt different. While others in the room treated the dinner like a twisted social club, Garrett stayed quiet, watchful, dissecting every movement and word from Red, Dexter's alias. Garrett wasn't just another predator. He had a method, a ritual, a signature that baffled law enforcement for years, targeting victims in pairs, arranging their bodies in mirrored positions, their heads touching. 32 confirmed kills, and the FBI still couldn't catch him. The method doubled his body count while hiding his true numbers, a display of both artistry and operational brilliance. And his intelligence was as deadly as his knife. Top of his class, top Mensa, top of the FBI's most wanted list, the kind of mind that notices the smallest inconsistency and never lets it go. Episode 6 set the trap. Dexter followed Garrett through the city streets, watching him slip into a bookstore, a strange move for a man like him, until Garrett placed a bookmark with 8 p.m. scrawled across it inside a book on serial killers. It was odd. It was deliberate, and Dexter, as careful as ever, didn't yet understand its meaning. But Garrett was already steps ahead. Instead of being prey, he became the predator. He tailed Dexter all the way home and confronted him in his own apartment. The tension was thick enough to cut with a blade. Garrett dismissed the Zodiac killer as an amateur, ranked Red as second best in some imagined hierarchy of murderers, and spoke with almost surgical precision about his philosophy, the beauty of killing in pairs. It was ego mixed with intellect, and it was dangerous. But even geniuses make mistakes. While Garrett talked, Dexter acted, slipping something into his drink and preparing to strike. In moments, the hunter became the hunted, another body removed from society under Harry's code. At least, that's what Dexter thought, because at the helicopter pad later that night, Prater's surviving killers gathered. A car pulled up, and out stepped the exact same man Dexter had just killed. Same face, same mannerisms, same unsettling stare. The truth hit hard. Gemini wasn't one man, it was two. Identical twins. Perfectly coordinated, perfectly disguised as a single killer. The symbol had been there all along, Gemini, the twins, hiding in plain sight. This changed everything. Two people functioning as one identity means an unbreakable psychological bond. If one was suspicious of Dexter during that dinner party, the other would have been too. If one vanished after meeting him, the other would immediately connect the dots. That 8 p.m. note in the bookstore. Not a clue for Dexter at all. It was a coded message for his brother, a way to synchronize their movements without ever breaking cover. The operational security here is terrifying. We're talking about a two-person intelligence unit, shared observations, mutual alibis, a constant stream of updates about everyone they meet. That's why the surviving twin, now armed with suspicion and motive, will inevitably realize who Dexter truly is. So, what happens when he does? There are 3 possible paths, and every single one is bad news for Dexter and Harrison. First possibility, he tells Leon Prater. The twins have always shown loyalty to their benefactor. At that dinner party, Garrett was quick to suggest eliminating loose ends for Prater's protection. If the surviving twin believes Dexter killed his brother and orchestrated Mia Lapierre's death, his first move might be to warn Prater that a legendary serial killer has infiltrated his circle. Prater's reaction could go one of 2 ways. He could see Dexter as a threat that must be destroyed, unleashing his resources, private security, FBI connections, and a near-limitless budget to erase him. Or he could see Dexter as the ultimate prize. Remember, Prater is obsessed with serial killer memorabilia. Knowing the Bay Harbor Butcher sat at his table could make him want to capture and study Dexter instead. And that's a fate possibly worse than death. Second possibility, personal revenge. The Gemini killer's whole philosophy revolves around pairs. What better way to avenge his brother and prove his superiority than to kill Dexter and Harrison together? That puts Harrison in serious danger. He's been trying to live a normal life in New York, working at the hotel, getting close to Elsa and her son. But if the twin comes for them, Harrison will be dragged back into the darkness he's been running from. And here's the twisted irony. If Harrison is forced to kill again to survive, it might push him over the edge, into the very life Dexter's been trying to keep him from. Third possibility, the twin accidentally helps the police. Detective Wallace and Angel Batista are already closing in, building a case against Dexter and tying Harrison to Ryan Foster's murder. If the twin makes a move, whether in revenge or by striking an uneasy deal, he could give Batista the exact evidence he's been searching for. Now imagine all three scenarios happening at once. Praetor's power, a genius killer seeking revenge, the police closing in. That's not just danger, that's a no-win situation. And in the middle of it all, Harrison, one move away from either becoming a killer or losing everything. The Gemini twist isn't just a plot device, it's the writers loading a gun and aiming it at every part of Dexter's world. And if you think the Gemini killer will be the one to finally take down Dexter, drop Dexter Hunted in the comments. Trinity changed Dexter forever, but the Gemini killer might break him. This isn't just another villain. Fans believe Gareth, the Gemini killer, might go down as the most disturbing and psychologically complex enemy Dexter has ever faced. But what makes him so dangerous? And how could he outdo someone like Trinity, who left Rita dead in a bathtub? Let's start with the man behind the madness, David Dastmalchian. If you've seen Prisoners or Late Night with the Devil, you already know this guy doesn't play creepy. He is creepy. And that's a compliment. There's something about his presence on screen that makes your skin crawl in the best way possible. Some fans say he looks like a Batman villain. Others say Marilyn Manson. But what everyone agrees on is this: David brings a type of darkness to his characters that feels unsettling and dangerously real. And that's exactly what makes Gareth such a terrifying threat. Now let's talk Trinity. Yes, Arthur Mitchell killed Rita. Yes, it was devastating. But let's be honest. Dexter let him in. He admired Trinity. He saw a mentor, a man who could balance murder and family life. Dexter got too close and paid the price. But Gareth, there's no admiration here, no curiosity, just danger. According to a bombshell article from Dexter Daily, David hinted that the Gemini killer has a secret power, something that will make Dexter's life incredibly difficult. His words, not ours. So what does that mean? What kind of power could possibly shake Dexter to his core? Some fans think it's supernatural. Others believe Gareth is actually a version of Dr. Denko from the original Dexter novels, a character known for brutal twists and psychological dominance. And David didn't help calm the speculation. He straight up said, once fans understand what's going on, it might blow their minds. Think Fight Club levels of shock, multiple personalities, reality-bending secrets, hidden identities. Whatever it is, we've never seen anything like this in the Dexter universe. Because here's the truth. Past villains were smart, calculated, dangerous. But Gareth feels like something bigger, something inevitable, something Dexter can't just stalk and stab in a kill room. He might not just challenge Dexter, he might own him. And that's where the stakes get scary. What if this secret power isn't just metaphorical? What if Gareth controls someone close to Dexter? What if he's already embedded inside Dexter's world, pulling strings without us even realizing it? Or what if he knows who Dexter really is? If Gareth turns out to be the kind of villain who stays one step ahead, who manipulates everyone around him like chess pieces, who doesn't just want to kill Dexter but wants to break him, then we're not dealing with a serial killer. We're dealing with something entirely new. That's what makes Gareth so fascinating. He's not just physically dangerous, he's psychologically invasive, the kind of enemy who forces Dexter to question everything, his past, his code, his future, all of it. And that's why he might outdo Trinity. Not because he kills more, but because he gets closer, because he plays dirtier, because he doesn't just attack Dexter's life, he attacks Dexter's identity. If that's the direction this series takes, we might be witnessing the rise of the most unforgettable villain Dexter has ever faced. So what do you think? Will the Gemini killer outshine Trinity? Or will he become just another name on Dexter's table? Drop your wildest theory in the comments. And if you're still watching, comment Dexter vs. Gemini, so we know you're one of the real ones ready for the chaos. Because something tells us Dexter isn't ready for what's coming.
As you may know, we have a serial killer who's taking out rideshare drivers.
Blessing seems like the nicest guy in Dexter. Resurrection, a humble rideshare driver, a generous host, a proud father. But what if that's exactly the point? What if this friendly face is actually hiding one of the darkest secrets in the entire series? Because more and more fans believe Blessing might secretly be the New York Ripper. And disturbingly, it all adds up. When Dexter Resurrection introduced us to Blessing Kamar, he seemed like the least suspicious person in the room. A warm smile, helpful nature, strong family values. He picks up Dexter in a rideshare, offers him a place to crash, even gives advice like an old friend. At first glance, he looks like a harmless supporting character, but that's exactly what makes him dangerous. Because in a show like Dexter, characters who feel too good to be true usually are. In fact, Blessing's calm, generous energy reminds fans of Brother Sam, the deeply spiritual mechanic who tried to lead Dexter toward redemption in Season 6. But unlike Sam, who openly confessed his violent past, Blessing has no darkness, no flaws, no baggage. And in the world of Dexter, that's a red flag. Because nobody, absolutely nobody, is that clean. Here's where it gets strange. Blessing isn't just some background character. He's the one who first mentions the dark passenger killer. He's the one who introduces Dexter to Leon Prater. He's the one who conveniently shows up at every critical turning point in Dexter's new life. It's like he's not just part of the story, he's steering it. Now let's talk about the Ripper. The New York Ripper is one of the most disturbing figures in the new series, a shadowy serial killer who's never been caught. His signature: a hooked knife that leaves a grotesque and unforgettable mark. Detective Claudette Wallace is obsessed with solving the case, but nobody else seems to care. And this is where things start to click, because the way Blessing talks about the Ripper is strange. He's the one who puts the case on Dexter's radar. He's the one who leads him to Prater, a man some believe might be the Ripper. But here's the thing, there's no proof Prater ever met the Ripper. What if Prater was a red herring? What if the real Ripper has been standing next to Dexter this whole time? Think about it. Blessing brings Dexter into the case, points him at someone else, gains his trust, and does all this while hiding in plain sight, just like the Ripper has always done. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the timeline. Prater says the Ripper terrorized his neighborhood when he was a kid. If Blessing is about the same age, that would make him too young to be the Ripper, right? Not necessarily. The show never confirms exact dates. What if the Ripper did go dormant? What if he paused, raised a family, and then re-emerged when something triggered him? Something like the return of Dexter Morgan. And here's what really sends chills down your spine. Blessing's behavior. His close friend Shike is attacked, other drivers are killed, but Blessing stays calm. Too calm. Maybe that's resilience. Or maybe it's the absence of empathy, which, as fans know, is textbook serial killer behavior. He doesn't just know about the Ripper case, he's inserting himself into it. And more importantly, he's inserting Dexter into it, like he's baiting him, testing him, playing a game. What if Blessing isn't helping Dexter? What if he's hunting him? Let's say the theory is true. Let's say Blessing really is the Ripper. That changes everything, because now we're looking at a man who built a fake life. A father, a husband, a friendly driver, all of it, a cover for something monstrous underneath. We've seen this before. Trinity was a church-going family man with a dark side that could shatter glass. The ponytail killer had a normal home life while casually chatting at Prater's dinner parties. Evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it wears a smile. And that's what makes Blessing so dangerous. He's hiding behind kindness, hiding in broad daylight. And the only person who might be able to see through the act is Dexter. There's a scene coming up that fans are already buzzing about. A gathering, a dinner, a moment where Dexter, Blessing, and Prater all sit at the same table. What if that's the reveal? What if that's when Dexter realizes he's not sharing bread with a friend? He's sharing it with a predator. Will they team up? Will they turn on each other? Or will Dexter finally realize the most dangerous killer in New York has been riding shotgun all along? Here's the craziest part. Everything Blessing has done could be seen as kindness or manipulation. Every gesture could be sincere or strategic. That's why this theory is catching fire. Not because it's shocking, but because it's plausible. And that's exactly how Dexter always gets us, by hiding the villain where we'd least expect. So what do you think? Is Blessing just a good guy in a dark world, or the monster hiding beneath it? Let us know in the comments. And if you're still watching, drop Ripper Blessing to show you're one of the real ones digging into the truth. Hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready, because the darkest reveal might still be coming.
Dinner is served.
Some characters in Dexter Resurrection are destined to die, but others, they must die. If they don't, Dexter's entire world collapses, along with his son. Dexter Morgan has always lived by a code: kill only those who deserve it. But this time, that code is unraveling, because in Dexter Resurrection, survival is no longer about justice. It's about deception, exposure, and cold, calculated choices. So in this video, we're going deeper than just a kill list. We're breaking down every character whose death is necessary for the story, for Dexter's survival, and for the fate of the entire franchise. Some of these characters are obvious threats, others are time bombs, but each one holds the power to either protect Dexter or destroy him. And trust me, one of these deaths might break everything. Let's start with someone who's already watching Dexter like a hawk: Gareth, also known as the Gemini Killer. Gareth isn't flashy. He doesn't crave attention like some of the others in Prater's network. But that's exactly what makes him so dangerous. He's observant, precise, and most importantly, he's suspicious. While others accept Red at face value, Gareth studies him, tracks patterns, looks for inconsistencies, and if he connects the dots, he won't hesitate to test Dexter, not because he fits the code, but because he threatens the cover. Gareth's death isn't optional, it's strategic. If Dexter doesn't eliminate him, Gareth could blow the entire operation apart from within, but killing him too soon could raise alarms with the other killers. So when Gareth dies, and he will, it won't be out of justice, it'll be out of cold-blooded necessity.
Invitation delivered.
Charlie isn't just a soldier for Leon Prater, she is the system. Former special operations, razor-sharp instincts, and fiercely loyal to the man who built this serial killer empire. She doesn't just keep order, she investigates. And she's already on to Lel's disappearance. It's only a matter of time before she digs into Red's identity and starts asking questions Dexter can't answer. Next up, Charlie, the enforcer, the hunter, and the biggest wildcard in the entire show. That's why Charlie must die, because the moment she finds out who Red really is, the Bay Harbor Butcher, it's game over. Her death is the firewall protecting Dexter's secret. But there's a twist. Charlie's not an easy target. She's trained, tactical, deadly. If Dexter moves too fast, she could take him down first. If he waits too long, she'll expose him. And her death wouldn't just be personal, it would be nuclear. Without Charlie holding things together, Prater's entire empire would collapse. The serial killers would turn on each other, paranoia would spread, and Dexter might be the last man standing, or the next one buried. Which brings us to Leon Prater himself. The Collector, the Curator, the Kingpin. Every season of Dexter has that one big bad, the ice truck killer, Trinity, Miguel Prado. In Resurrection, it's Prater. But Prater isn't just evil, he's a fan, a student of Dexter's past. He owns the blood slide box. He knows too much. And worst of all, he might already know the truth. If Prater doesn't die, he could expose Dexter to the entire world, or worse, turn him into a twisted trophy in his collection. But here's the real reason he must die. He breaks the code, not by killing, but by enabling others to kill. He's financing murder, hosting gatherings, building networks of psychopaths like it's some secret society. Dexter won't need a code to justify taking him out. All he'll need is one excuse, one moment. And when Prater dies, it will be the symbolic end of this entire twisted network. But now we shift gears, because the next threat isn't a killer. He's a cop, a father figure, a friend. Angel Batista. In New Blood, Angela Bishop exposed Dexter's secret, but it's Batista who's chasing the proof. And he's getting closer. He's spoken with Masuka, Quinn, He's digging through old files and casework, and he's already confronted Dexter once, with nothing but suspicion in his voice. The problem? Batista doesn't fit the code. He's not a threat to others. He's a threat to Dexter alone, which means if Dexter kills him, it won't be justifiable. It won't be ritual. It will be murder. But here's why Batista must die, because he's too good at what he does. If Dexter lets him live, he'll be exposed. If Dexter kills him, he'll fracture his soul and maybe destroy his legacy. Batista's death is the moral crossroads of this entire season, and it might just be the one thing that breaks Dexter for good. But if you think that's the worst part, think again, because someone else is watching. Harrison. Now, Harrison isn't a name on the kill list, but he's the reason every kill matters. Because if Dexter kills Batista, the ripple effect will hit Harrison like a freight train. Just like in New Blood, Harrison's moral compass could snap into focus, this time with no confusion. Batista was part of Harrison's childhood, a reminder of Miami, of honesty, of truth. And if he finds out Dexter killed him, everything will shatter. The illusion, the trust, the hope that Dexter could ever change. And that's the final consequence. If these characters don't die, Dexter's secret dies. But if they do die, Dexter might lose the only thing he's ever tried to protect, his son. So now we've seen the full board: Gareth, Charlie, Leon Prater, Batista. They don't just might die, they must. Because Dexter isn't playing by the old rules anymore. He's balancing three worlds at once: the code, his cover, and his son. And every time he kills, he's risking all three. But that's the genius of Dexter: resurrection. The kills aren't just violent, they're strategic. Every death is a calculated move in a high-stakes chess game, and one wrong move could bring it all crashing down. If Gareth lives, Dexter is exposed. If Charlie survives, she finds the truth. If Prater escapes, the network keeps growing. If Batista gets too close, Dexter has to make a choice that could break him. And if Harrison finds out, there's no coming back. Because this time, Dexter's not just fighting for survival, he's fighting for his soul. So what do you think? Did we get the death list right? Or is someone else next on the table? Let me know your theory in the comments, and if you're still watching, drop must die list below, so I know you're one of the true fans who made it to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Welcome. I cannot express how excited I am to meet you.
Leon Prater isn't just obsessed with serial killers. He funds them, recruits them, and collects their trophies. So when Dexter Morgan walked into his dinner party, pretending to be someone else, why didn't he recognize the most infamous killer of them all? Because if Prater really did know, then this changes everything. Let's break down the theory that Leon Prater always knew Dexter was the Bay Harbor Butcher, and why that detail might be the most dangerous secret in the entire show. Leon Prater is no ordinary billionaire. He's built a secret empire around serial killers, recruiting them, rewarding them, and tracking their crimes like a collector tracks fine art. He doesn't just admire them, he studies them. And among his obsessions, three of the most important names in Dexter's legacy: the Ice Truck Killer, the Trinity Killer, and of course, the Bay Harbor Butcher. That last one should have set off every alarm. So why didn't it? Let's be clear, Dexter's name has been tied to the Bay Harbor Butcher case in multiple public records. Captain Maria Laguerta arrested Dexter Morgan for murder in front of Miami Metro PD. In public. She died chasing the truth. Molly Park, a popular true crime podcaster, openly questioned the official narrative, suggesting James Dokes was framed and the real butcher was still out there. Her theory was so public, it reached podcast charts and Reddit threads, places any serial killer fanatic like Prater would devour. Dexter Morgan's face wasn't hidden. His name appeared in police reports, news articles, court records, and most notably, Laguerta's own investigation files. Anyone doing a deep dive into the Bay Harbor Butcher case, especially someone like Leon Prater, who literally owns bloodslides and serial killer artifacts, would have seen Dexter's name and face repeatedly. It's not just that Prater missed it, it's that he missed it so many times that it feels mathematically impossible. Then there's Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer. Prater owns Mitchell's actual hammer. This isn't casual fandom, this is obsession. And guess what? Trinity's last victim was Rita Morgan, Dexter's wife. Her death broke his pattern, drew headlines, and connected directly to Dexter's name in every FBI file. Even more damning, Police sketches of Kyle Butler, Dexter's fake identity used to infiltrate Trinity's life, match Dexter's face. Detective Quinn even pursued this lead by showing Dexter's photo to Mitchell's family. Again, Prater had to know. He had the means, the motive, and the files. Here's the final nail in the coffin. When Harrison Morgan kills Brian Foster, he mimics the Bay Harbor butcher's exact technique, down to the 9 garbage bags. This isn't common knowledge. It's not in podcasts or documentaries. Yet Prater, who recruits killers based on precise methodology, didn't flinch. No way. If he saw Harrison's kill, and he surely did, it would have forced him to dig deeper, and one background check would connect Harrison to Rita Morgan and Dexter. That dinner party, it wasn't just a recruitment, it was a test. There are 3 possible explanations here. The first is that this is a plot hole. The writers may have overlooked the sheer volume of evidence tying Dexter to Prater's obsessions. If so, this undermines Prater's credibility as an expert. How can we believe he's a genius if he misses the most infamous killer of all? The second is that it's deliberate misdirection. Maybe Prater does know, and he's waiting, testing Dexter, watching him squirm, waiting to see how far he'll go before snapping. If that's the case, we might be headed for one of the most intense psychological standoffs in Dexter history. The third is that it's a slow burn. We're only a few episodes into Dexter Resurrection. There's still time for the writers to reveal that Prater has been playing a long game, a chess match, a trap. So, what do you think? Is Leon Prater just blind to the truth, or does he already know exactly who's sitting at his table? If you're still watching, comment Prater knew down below, and let's see how many of us believe this theory. Make sure to subscribe for more dark theories, breakdowns, and hidden details from the world of Dexter. Thanks for watching.
You're going to love Mia.
Time to see what's on the buffet.
Dexter finally found someone who understands him. Lady Vengeance doesn't just kill, she follows a code. She's calm under pressure, and she's dangerous. But here's the twist. The more she mirrors Dexter, the more she might destroy him. Because if there's one thing worse than a serial killer without a code, it's one who shares his exact darkness. From the moment she appeared at Leon Prater's killer cabal, Lady Vengeance felt different. While most of the guests reveled in chaos or flaunted their twisted trophies, Lady Vengeance was precise, methodical. She only targets predators, specifically child abusers. And that alone caught Dexter's attention. But what really sealed the connection? Her code. Just like him, she doesn't kill for thrill. She kills with purpose. Dexter didn't just relate, he was mesmerized. And let's be honest, it's not just admiration. There's chemistry here. This isn't just a killer alliance, it's becoming a romantic one. The way she speaks, the way she moves, even the confidence she carries in a room full of murderers. It's like Dexter is staring into a mirror, or worse, a fantasy version of himself. But that's where things start to get dangerous, because what makes Lady Vengeance so alluring is exactly what makes her so unpredictable. Let's break this down. In episode 4, Lady Vengeance shares more screen time than any other killer. We learn she was triggered by childhood trauma. Her first kill came after she avenged her sister from abuse. She didn't hesitate. That was the birth of her code. Sound familiar? Dexter had Harry. She had no one. Dexter was taught to control the darkness. She embraced it. This key difference is what makes her terrifying. She's not bound by guilt. She's not haunted by Harry's voice. She owns what she does. Even her trophy collection tells us that. In her home, Dexter finds a ballerina box. Inside, dog tags and other relics. Not blood slides, not neat little tokens. These are symbols of justice, or vengeance, depending how you see it. And that's the slippery slope Dexter is walking, because the more time he spends with her, the more he's pulled toward her worldview. It's raw, it's righteous, and it doesn't beg for forgiveness.
Hey, Mia, you know you want to.
Let's also not forget, she notices everything. When the tattoo collector stares at her tattoos, she instantly flips the power dynamic. One glare, and he's on his heels. She's not prey. She's a predator of predators, and she carries that energy with zero fear, which raises a massive red flag. If she's this perceptive, how long until she figures out Dexter is lying about his identity? How long until she knows exactly who he is? Because, let's not forget, she's already suspicious. When Dexter shows up using a fake thumbprint to access Prater's estate, she stays back, watches him. She's not dumb, and the more Dexter opens up to her, the more he risks exposing everything. And that's not even the scariest part. What if she already knows who he is, and she's playing him? Here's the real theory that could turn the season on its head. Leon Prater invited Dexter not because he didn't know his past, but because he did. Prater collects killers like trophies. And if Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher, the killer who kills killers, he's the crown jewel. He's not just one of them, he's above them. And what if Lady Vengeance is part of that plan? What if she's not Dexter's perfect match, but the bait? There's evidence. She tells Dexter that Prater likes to collect. She warns him not to trust appearances. She's constantly in the loop, yet never fully transparent. If she is working with Prater, or worse, manipulating Dexter on her own, this romance could end in betrayal or blood. Think about it. She's the only one Dexter lowers his guard around, the only one he flirts with, the only one he chases. If she wanted to strike, he's already wide open. And Dexter knows it too. That's why Harry keeps showing up in his mind, warning him not to get attached, not to play with his food, because Harry sees what Dexter won't admit. This woman could destroy him. Lady Vengeance isn't just a new love interest. She's the most dangerous person in Dexter's world right now. Whether she's his soulmate or his downfall, one thing's certain, she's not leaving this season quietly. Let us know. Do you trust Lady Vengeance? Or is she playing Dexter like a violin? If you're still watching, drop red flag romance in the comments.